When I think about Alaska, I think about glaciers, beautiful ice forms that carved out this magnificent valley. Alaska is home to some of the world's most epic glaciers. Together, they are large enough to bury nearly half of New York State under their mass. I've already travelled more than 3,500 miles to get here, but my real adventure is just beginning. With air temperatures that can reach a bone-chilling 60 degrees below zero, these frozen deserts stretch from Alaska's most turbulent peaks to its barren coastlines. There's nearly 100,000 glaciers, but many are melting, getting smaller and smaller as the Earth keeps getting warmer and warmer. My mission is to photograph these magnificent ice sculptures as these glaciers continue to evolve. I'm heading into the wilderness of Denali National Park to shoot a glacier in the clouds, which means there's only one way to get there.
G'day, Paul. How you going, mate?
Well, hey there, Peter. Nice to see you.
Paul Roderick has been an Alaskan bush pilot for more than 20 years. It's one of the most extreme jobs there is. He can land on any patch of ice from Alaska to Antarctica.
There is a system kind of parked behind the range, and it's been kind of pushing a little moisture in and out of there, but I think we have a good window right now, but it may not last.
The weather on the glacier can change in an instant, which is why we've packed enough survival gear to last us 5 days. Alrighty, mate.
Clear, thank you.
Each year, nearly half of the Earth's water that pours into the oceans flows directly out of Alaska. And as global temperatures rise, these glaciers are melting even faster.
And you can see this wide expanse up ahead of us here. It's a classic Alaska glacial river.
And those rivers have beautiful patterns too from the air. They're just like abstract. You know, even these trees out here look like a work of art. It's almost monochromatic, all whites, sort of greens and dark browns. So different to anything I've ever seen.
Suddenly, the flat, even landscape bursts open, revealing giant peaks.
Look at these cliffs here, mate. You're kidding me. Look at this. You've blown my mind. It's unreal.
Ruth Glacier sits at 4,000 feet and is surrounded by jagged peaks, including the highest and most unpredictable mountain in North America, Mount McKinley, or as it's better known, Denali. These mountains create a natural gorge, even deeper than the Grand Canyon.
The Great Gorge here has some of the, taller, granite walls in the world, and so these rise on an average about a mile high. But as impressive as this range is, these glaciers are still receding.
Need to capture this on film, mate, while it's still around, you know?
Yeah, it might not be when we're...
Look at that. In just a completely different perspective up here from the air.
Have you ever done a ski landing, Peter?
No, mate. First one in history. Awesome.
Mate, it's stunning up here.
I'm dying to get a couple of shots of this place, mate. Look at it.
Well, I'm surrounded here by 360 degrees of magnificent peaks. Denali's the one that I really want to feature in this shot. The summit's up there somewhere, 20,000 foot. If you don't see the peak of the mountain, the shot really loses its entire impact. Denali is so massive that it creates its own weather system, which can turn without warning as temperatures plummet to 40 below zero and hurricane winds rip across the glacier. I really need to get a shot of Denali with the peak going through those clouds. So I'm going to look for another angle further down the end of this glacier here. I remember when I was a kid, my dad always used to have the National Geographic lying out in front of him and was fascinated by these mountain peaks. If I use a wide-angle lens, that'll flatten them out. So I've changed to a longer 150mm lens here, and that's going to pull all these mountains in together and give them that grandeur that they deserve. And I love the clouds on the horizon there. That really gives that shot a special feeling about it. It also separates them a bit. Otherwise, you just got these peaks and then it just goes wham to the blue sky. Gives that shot more of a sort of a painterly feeling about it. I've captured some of Alaska's giants, but the greatest of all still eludes me. The 20,000-foot peak of Denali is still covered in clouds. I really hope that summit comes back. I'm really starting to freak. The light's dropping quick.
Talkeet Airport information, Foxtrot, time 2053 Zulu.
When I get back, Paul's waiting with some bad news.
There's a storm coming in from the southwest, so I think we're going to have to kind of exit out of here as quick as we can.
It's been eluding me, bloody frustrating here all afternoon. We just can't risk getting stuck on this glacier in an ice storm. We have got to get out of here fast. As we head up into the storm, I get one last idea of how I might get my shot.
Yeah, Paul, it's really important for me to get above the clouds.
Managed to climb above the weather, and I've got just one last shot to capture Denali from above.
There she is. There it is, mate. Love it.
The imposing rock face adds impact, scale, and perspective to the shot, while a layer of clouds in front of and above Denali frame it as if it's floating in the sky.
Got the summit. Love it.
G'day, Rod.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going, mate? Rodney Romick has skippered boats across Alaska's roughest coastlines right up to its most volatile glaciers.
We're actually to be the first boat out in the season, so it's really unexpected what we're going to see, and there's how far the ice is going to be out.
Rod isn't even sure if there'll be an open path through the thawing winter waters. After 3 hours on the water, I'm starting to get a glimpse of why I came all this way. I mean, look at this scene here in front of me. It's got the early morning light just burning off the fog on the mountains. Just so wild, untamed and untouched. Look at this here, would you? Porpoises off the front of the boat. The only problem is getting a shot of one of these little fellas. I guess that's why I like photographing landscapes. Mountains and trees don't move too quickly. You can tell now we're getting closer to the glacier. These chunks of ice down here are getting bigger and bigger. I can feel the icebergs banging into the hull of the boat. The Ayalik Glacier greets us with a dramatic show of strength.
There goes a huge one.
Look, look at it, look at it, look at that!
The natives called it white thunder because it sounds just like thunder.
Calving or collapsing glaciers are often followed by a loud crack or boom.
But these pieces you're seeing are, well, 5-6 times the size of the boat we're in right now, no problem. Huge.
Holy would you look at that? Another 100-foot ice floe. I want to capture Ayalik Glacier in action. And look at this. As the sun's been going down, the colours of these things have been getting brighter and brighter. And the bigger the glacier, the bluer it is. I'm going to use a super wide angle lens to drag that in and get the glacier in the background. Love it. Look at the colour of this iceberg here in the foreground. They're just like snowflakes. Every one of them's completely different. This is what I was after. Face to face with Mother Nature. I just love this scene, and knowing that this ice here is thousands of years old, just capturing that on camera, who knows when it could disappear. I've got this beautiful blue ice sculpture in the foreground and the mountains in the background. Also, you can see now some really nice overcast skies. Absolutely perfect for photography. This texture through here is just so smooth and delicate. Feels like marble. When I'm looking for a shot, I'm always after sort of depth and perspective. You know, something to bring the viewer's eye straight into the shot. Like, look down this ice tunnel here, for instance. But it needs that little bit of an edge. Look at this, another magic location. Don't know what's around the corner here. This ice here is actually a lot deeper than I thought. It drops straight back down. Can't get it any further. But once I step away from the glacier, I suddenly see it in an entirely new light. This is looking bloody excellent. After days of trekking across Alaska's evolving winter wilderness, I've got one massive ice sculpture left to capture. Never seen so many shades of blue in my entire life. Look at it. And that's the centerpiece of the shot. That beautiful carved out bit of ice just sitting there. When you've got that element of strength and composition in there, added just a beautiful colour, you're getting pretty bloody close to a magic shot.